Hey guys, I actually had 2 other videos cooking, but I had to pivot a little bit because my tiny home was violated. So as you can see from the thumbnail, yes, I am pissed. But I gotta wait 15 seconds before I start cussing, otherwise my video will get demonetized. So go ahead and check this intro and I'll be right back.
Hold up.
Now, because I didn't shoot this video early in the morning, you are going to have to suffer through some of the background noise because it's now mid-morning and cars are going, motorcycles, airplanes, all the noise. So anyway, let me just get into the video. Yes, my tiny home was violated. I was home the other day and I was washing some dishes, and next thing you know, I hear these 2 loud thuds against my home. And so I'm like, okay, it's not that windy. What is that? You know, my door was closed, so I know it wasn't the door that was bouncing. I looked out the window and I saw these 2 little kids running, and I opened my door immediately because I knew they had to be up to some kind of mischief because they were running, and they don't live in here. Like, we know this community and we know who has kids, who doesn't have kids. But that said, I see them running. I took off barefoot, no shoes on my feet, and just ran out the door. There was no need for me to grab anything because I knew that they were kids. And so I was just like, okay. So I take off and I see them hopping over a fence. Like, there's a concrete wall fence where I am, and I see them hopping over the fence, and then that's when I yelled at them like, okay, there's the car going, because you know, it seems like as soon as I pull my camera out, all of the noise starts. I'm really surprised that my other neighbor hasn't come out to start backing up his truck, because he usually backs up his truck every single time I pull out my camera. Let me just get back to the story. So I see them running and I ran after them, and then they hopped over the fence. I'm not about to hop over nobody fence. Like, maybe when I was a teenager, but right now, I'm not hopping over nobody fence. So I yelled at them and I'm like, hey, I see you. I saw what you did. And he tried to play it off. One of them tried to play it off, of course. There goes another airplane. So one of them tried to play it off. What are you talking about? I said, I saw what you did. You just threw pumpkins at my house, and I'll show you the pumpkins. I don't know, like, these kids don't have nothing else to do, nothing better to do but deface my property. So they threw these 2 pumpkins that they probably got from another one of my neighbors who haven't gotten rid of their damn pumpkins, because, you know, it's only Easter coming up, but people still have pumpkins laying around. I don't know. I mean, I know some people who still have Christmas trees up, but that's another story. Anyway, so I'm yelling at this kid and I'm like, why would you do something like that? You know, this is my home. I work hard for what I have. And, you know, and I'm telling him, I'm a black woman. I could be your mom. I could be your grandmother. I could be your auntie. Why are you doing something like this? And so he apologizes for his behavior. I'm sorry, ma'am, you know, all this stuff. I go, you know, I could call the cops on you. Like, I could give a full description. By this time, my other neighbor had come out and she had taken some pictures of them. And, you know, she was like, do you want me to let my dogs out? And I'm like, no, it's fine. You know, I wanted to try and talk to him and maybe reach him rather than calling the cops on him, because, I mean, I understand, like, if I call the cops on this kid and he ends up in juvie, or he ends up starting out with a record at 13, you know, because they couldn't have been more than 12 or 13 years old. That's where I would put them. And I'm like, So I call the cops on them. They get locked up. Not only that, they know now where I live. And I don't want to put myself in that kind of situation where I come back one day and my entire home has been defaced or worse. I don't know. So I just figured I'd try to talk to him. I'm like, don't you have anything better to do? You don't have a book to read? Go play some ball, go do something. And he's like, no, as if he had absolutely nothing to do. I was angry, and at the same time, really confused about what's happening with our youth, especially here in this country. Like, it's really bad. My mom is always telling me, my mom is in Brooklyn, that's where I'm from. My mom is always telling me about how in New York, these kids now are like stabbing each other. People are getting pushed off of the train platforms in New York. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's bad. It's pretty dangerous out here. And this is one of the downsides to living in an RV park and not living on your own property, tucked away somewhere. Not to say that you wouldn't have issues there, because I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Jewel Pearson. She is like the pioneer Black woman of tiny homes. Like, it was her who got me feeling like this is something I could do, because I felt there was some inclusion. I felt like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. So if you know anything about Jewel Pearson's story, if not, then go to her channel, Bohemian Soul. She has so many stories that she could tell you about living in her tiny. And her tiny is an actual house that was built up. My tiny is a park model RV that I converted. So there are some differences, but there is no difference in our skin color. There is no difference in the type of things that we have to deal with. And she had to deal with a lot of other things in terms of where to live, where to place her tiny. And, she's finally at a place where she's comfortable, but she's also very, very private about letting people know exactly where she is. I'm also private about exactly where I am, because some people are just not all there. Some people are not right in the head, and you can't trust everybody. And I'm putting my life out there. I'm putting my life out on social media for the world to see. And I got to keep certain things private. I don't want people hitting me up just out of nowhere, just messaging me or whatever. I have a number because I get clients, and these clients are calling me for that reason. I don't want somebody just hitting me up random. It's weird. So, but it has happened. I just want to get back to the fact that no matter where you go, there's no 100% guarantee that you're going to be safe, that your home is going to be safe, that you won't get violated, robbed, looted, whatever. Obviously we have to do things to protect ourselves. We have to put things in order. Like, there was no point in me checking my camera footage because I saw the kids. So it was like, okay, I'm just gonna go after them. One of the things that I want you guys to keep in mind is that when it comes to living this lifestyle, you want to make sure that you have really thought about where you're going to place your tiny. If you're going to be a nomad that is not stationary and you plan on moving about the country, about the world actually, which you can do in a tiny, just not this tiny because she's too big. But if that's something you plan on doing, you want to always make sure that you consider the fact that it's going to be slightly different from living in a home. Now, I still have neighbors and we still look out for each other. And same thing would be if I was in a sticks and bricks. But it's just a little bit different. And I just want to put that out there for you guys to keep that in mind. Nothing's bolted down and people can just come and violate your stuff. I pay for a space, but it's technically not my property. And that is something that I wish going forward that I could have. And you know, not without trying. I have been looking for land, someplace to actually put my home so that it's my property, and if I want to, I can put up whatever gates I want to, I can put up whatever booby traps I want to. But you know, when you're living on somebody else's space, then you have to abide by their rules. And yes, we have security here. It is, you know, a great place, but it is nothing like living out in the middle of nowhere, or at least off the road and tucked away. You know, I can hear everything. I can, you know, get all of this energy that I don't necessarily like. And that is one of the things that I absolutely hate about my living situation. So I don't want to bring things to you and make it seem as though it's all rainbows and unicorns, because I am one to tell you it is not. You know, it has its pros and its cons, and you know, this is definitely one of the cons. I live too close to apartment buildings. I live close to where kids have nothing better to do but go around vandalizing people's homes. And this is not the first time that it's happened. The first time that it happened, I actually ended up calling the cops. I did a police report, and you know, I threatened this guy. I told him, you better get off of my property, otherwise I'm gonna shoot your ass. And it was just like so irritating to see somebody picking your things up and walking away with them. So, you know, we keep a lot of stuff outside because we live in a tiny situation. The sun is starting to beam on my airplanes. Because we live in a tiny home, we don't always have the storage to keep everything inside. So some of my neighbors have to chain things to their home, chain things to the tongue of their rig. I just like to think that people are actually trustworthy, and that there are certain things I can keep outside and not have to worry about it. But unfortunately, that's not the case. I mean, this other time that it happened, the guy was walking away with all of my stuff, my umbrella, my chairs, tools. Like, he just was walking away with all of my stuff, not at once, but he had been taking things and then hopping over the fence and dumping things and then coming back and getting more. And I was just like baffled when, you know, security finally went over the fence and realized that he had taken so much of my shit. And so yeah, with that said, I just want to be completely honest with you guys that it is not all rainbows and unicorns, and you have to consider the fact that if you're going to be living in this kind of situation, that you want to be able to protect yourself. You want to have cameras, and you want to make sure that you don't leave things that might cause someone to want to violate you or violate your home. So what I think happened is, I'm not sure if you guys saw the little short that I posted where Ivan came over and we were actually cleaning out Dream's gutters and wiping her down and taking off all of the decals to get her prepared for the next step in her external redesign. And I think for some reason, these kids may have seen us out here doing that and decided that they wanted to do something to destroy my property or make all my hard work for nothing. Because I don't know why they just chose to pick my home when I had both of my cars in the driveway. So it was clear that somebody was here. And I don't know if maybe these kids had seen us doing that and decided that they wanted to come over here and do something to destroy my property, deface it, or make it messy, because they chose to throw pumpkins at it. And luckily, I guess for me, the pumpkins were dried out because I guess my neighbor just left them sitting there since, like, I don't know, Thanksgiving, Halloween, and Easter's coming. Make it make sense. At any rate, the pumpkins are dried out, so they just busted open somewhat, but didn't leave any like splatter, just a little bit, nothing major. Luckily, it didn't dent anything, and I'm glad they didn't throw them at my window. I'm always cautious about where I am and my surroundings. I keep my head on a swivel, so to speak. But, you know, it's just certain things that you don't have that much control over. And unfortunately, when it comes to kids who are restless and don't have parents who are rearing them properly, they are going to do whatever they can to be a fucking nuisance. The point of this video is that I want you guys to go down every single rabbit hole, cross every T, dot every I, when it comes to where you're going to be placing your tiny. Some of you guys are doing this in the future. Some of you are already doing it in terms of alternative living. God knows with the price of what homes cost these days, a lot of people are going this route, and it's not a bad route to go. I've been living this way now for 2.5 years, and you know, I can say that I definitely can see some difference in terms of my monthly output when it comes to my finances, for sure. So it's definitely a route a lot of people are taking. I just want you to be very cautious about where you live, where you place your tiny. If you are able to be lucky enough to be on a piece of land somewhere, tucked away somewhere, that's great. If not, then make sure you know what's going on around you. After speaking to the property manager, he gets the police reports sent to him, and he basically let me know, like, within a 5-mile radius, there's over 600 crimes happening per week. And that is only the ones that we actually know about, the ones that are reported. And seriously, 5-mile radius per week, over 600. So I'm really starting to think about where I'm at. I'm really starting to consider how much I have to do to either dream someplace where we are more comfortable and more private. That's why I try to be somewhat private about my whereabouts. Everybody knows I'm in Las Vegas. That's not a secret, but we have so many RV parks here that, you know, like, you really would have to be trying to track me down to go hunting all over the place looking for me. But and then I hope that nobody is that goddamn crazy, because you don't want to see me. You don't want to see me. You don't want to see me. Yeah. So anyway, with that said, and with all the noise going, and I have to apologize, like I said, it is very noisy around here, and that is also something else that you need to consider. I swear to God, like, one day I'm just gonna do a whole montage video of all of the noise that I have to put up with when I try to turn on my camera. It seems like as soon as I turn on my camera, the noise starts. So anyway, I'm done ranting about this shit. I'm gonna move on with my life, try to figure this out, and see what I'm gonna do going forward so that I feel safe and I don't feel like I have to worry about my home being violated. So anyway, thank you guys for sticking through this video. I hope you got something out of it, something valuable. Please remember to hit the like button for me. Leave a comment if you feel like it. If there's something you want to share also, not just for me, but for everybody else out there that is living this lifestyle. If there's something you want to share, please drop that in the comments, because other people read the comments as well. And yeah, I think that's it. So I don't know if this stupid fucking string was like in the whole video, because I hadn't checked any of the footage. I couldn't really see outside, and so now that I'm inside and I'm taking pictures for my thumbnail, and I was like, wait a minute, what the f? Like, I don't know if this string was, I'm sorry, if this string was there, she just had to make her debut. Don't be mad at the string. I'm sorry if the string was there throughout the whole entire video. Let me tuck her away. Stay safe, guys. I love you. Bye. Alrighty, it is shout out time, and I gotta give a big special shout out to all of you guys for helping me monetize. But I also have some super special shout outs to July, Mimi Lynn, Teresa Autry, Unique Libra, Angela Marshall, and Dorothy Williams. Remember, if you're gonna be on here anyway, let another video play and have a great day. I love you guys. Bye.